Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and Thomas Hearns. Legends, whose four-way rivalry defined one of the greatest eras in boxing history. Relive their decade of dominance in a new Showtime sports documentary, The Kings, a 4-part series now streaming on Showtime.
The following is a Hoop Ball presentation.
Welcome back to another episode and another edition of Today in Sports Betting. I am your host, Devin Ellington, at DALE007 on Twitter. This is a hoop-ball.com presentation. Hoop-ball.com. Make sure to check out the website. Check out the @Hoopball Gaming page, which is where you find the show and the rest of the crew. On Twitter, we've also got tons of free content over on the website, team coverage, off-season fantasy basketball news, up-to-the-minute health and transactional blurbs on the right-hand side of the website. We've got forums, we've got chats, we've got content that's free. We've got premium content. Speaking of, the wager pass is $9.99. Do your math. That's 33 cents a day, which is going to be less than a latte, even if you drink the expensive stuff. And you get access to about 10 handicappers of professional proportions, high-volume bettors like myself, super sharp guys, first 5 angles in baseball. We've got soccer, hockey, golf, baseball, basketball, football. Spoiler alert, soon to be the AUDL. That's right, the American Ultimate Disc League. Spoiler alert, foreshadowing. I might have some big shows planned, might have some big stuff planned. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Anyways, check out hoop-ball.com. Go follow us. Go follow every entity that I just mentioned. And definitely follow this guy that I'm about to bring up and the guy I'm about to introduce, because it's about to be hot and heavy soccer time. And who better than Hoopball Gaming's own than Troy Markowski at Troy Markowski. God dang it, Troy. I knew it. I knew I was doing a show with at Dwayne The Rock J, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Woo. Hot Take Central coming in.
Look at that. We got it. How you doing, Troy?
Phenomenal. How about yourself, man?
Yeah, I bet you're probably feeling good now that your host was able to finally get your Twitter handle done.
Got it, dude. Hey, at least you get my name right. Vince is still working on my last name.
Troy Morakowski. Troy Kawasaki. No, folks, all joking aside, Troy Markowski, this guy's been great for us. He's been a part of the team, part of the roster for a while. Very, very busy guy, so shows that we get to do are very, very it's a treat. It's like a treasure. We love Troy. The listeners love Troy, and he knocks out a lot of written content for us. He's always in the Discord. The way you get access to Troy unabated is going to be in Discord, and that's through our Hoopball Gaming Wager Pass. So you got to come in and check Troy's mind out. Troy, we're going to be talking some Euros. We got Italy and Turkey kicking off here in about a couple hours. We're going to probably have a little bit of overlay on that first game, but we got some stuff to be excited for moving into this weekend as far as Euros. We're going to touch on NBA playoffs, of course, and then I've got some light brushing on the baseball diamond, professional and collegiate alike. So really excited to talk Euros with you. We've had some great soccer guests on the show in the past, and really happy that you're on our team and you got some soccer takes for us.
Yeah, this is so like you said, Italy-Turkey kicks off in a couple hours, and it's just a month of chaos. June 11th to July 11th, just a month of soccer games all day. and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, and I'm ready for it. I love it.
Yeah, this is one of the more exciting tournaments. CONCACAF is also something that I always keep an eye on. This when the nations start playing soccer, the World Cup blood starts a-going. And I can't say that I am as huge of a soccer nut and junkie as you are, but there is just something about soccer. It is a beautiful game. It's poetry in motion, very much so like basketball, and the constant movement that it takes, the angles, the whatever, what you got to do to get a goal. Each possession is a heartstring that could be success or disappointment. There's so much emotion throughout a soccer game, and we have a really low total set for the Turkish Italia game. And, I asked you on a public forum on Twitter a little bit, because I was looking through the tally site selections, and
Right.
I was thinking to maybe look at the over, but I am not a soccer aficionado as well-versed as you are. And you talked me out of it because you mentioned that both these clubs are very good defensively. They don't play home run hitting style soccer, and they're much more okay with just kind of getting the feel for themselves as a team. Defense first, then the offense will settle in based off the plays that we make in the midfield and as a defense.
Yeah, so Italy is one of those teams that's just really all around a great squad always. They're one of the blue bloods of the Euros. They're plus 800 on the future to win it all. And that's worth throwing something on for me. They didn't lose in qualifiers. They didn't lose at all. Like they're a really, really good team, and I think they're flying on. There's always one blue blood that flies under the radar, and this year it's Italy. Like you said, they're not like they don't have like a Ronaldo or a Messi, but all around just a good squad that can adapt to other types of teams' play style as well. So Italy is one of those teams to definitely look out for. This one, I believe it's 2.5, and I took the under. The over.
Let's talk about your balls.
That's interesting. It's always weird the first games for me because I feel like at the first game of the tournament, no matter who's playing, it's a feel-out.
Let's talk about,
you know what I mean? Unless it's like a rivalry type of game, which I'm not well versed in European history, but I don't know of many rivalries between Turkey and Italy.
HOOPBALL.
I'm sure there are some. I mean, hey, there's always rivalries.
Use the promo code.
But I think Italy's one of those teams to look out for, to throw a little flyer on if you like Italy,
taking care of your lawn.
Really, though, the
lawnmower
3.0
with a built-in LED light to help you get into those dark dye crevices on the inner parts.
In every
also,
area of the field.
Gooch.
Defense, midfield,
it is hard to get to the gooch if you can't see it. So use the
Kylian
LED
Mbappe,
light with
who
the
is the next
anti-tugless
Ronaldo.
technology.
I was just about to bring that guy up. I was going to ask,
long battery life.
with France?
Then
I couldn't remember what.
Check out the weed whacker.
Yeah,
bring that out of the shed.
Is one of
use
the
it
fastest
on your
people I've ever
shrubs.
seen. His
Cut
finishing
down
is
what you need
preposterous.
down
If you
to
get the
bare
ball near
minimum
him
if you need
in
to.
front of the goal, it's more than likely going to go
It's got a nice
in. And he's only like
anti-tugless
21 or
technology,
22.
just like the
Very
Lawnmower
young.
3.0. It's
They
also
have
got
Paul
a
Pogba,
lithium
who
battery.
obviously I'm a little biased
And
towards. I like me some
best
Pogba.
news of all, these things are
But check this out.
waterproof. So that way you can do it in the
coming off the
shower
World Cup
and
victory
take care of
in
business
2018.
in the cleanest way
They
possible.
lost to Portugal in the Euro final
is the promo
2016.
code that's going to get you free
so
shipping.
they're coming
as
into
well
this
as
tournament
20%
as the
off.
second place
I
finisher
recommend
from
using
2016. They
I
won the World
recommend
Cup.
getting the complete
So they're
care
looking
kit
to be one of those
with your free
teams
shipping and your
that happens every
20%
now and
off.
then where they
Spend
win a
little
World
extra,
Cup and then a Euro.
get a lot
or they win
more.
a Euro
There's
then a
a
World
good
Cup.
care kit
And they were really
there
close
for
in
us
2016.
gentlemen.
They just ran
Face
into Portugal
scrub,
and Ronaldo.
shampoo,
Ronaldo
ball
didn't
treatment,
play in the
and
final,
the area
but he
that
carried them the
surrounds
whole
our
way,
balls.
and then they
I believe
finished
there's
the
even a
job.
pair of underwear.
And they were a lot younger than
for
us
our
5
balls.
years ago.
So
and
yeah,
Mbappe wasn't even on
that's
that team,
going to
I think.
conclude
And
the
if he
talk
was, he
about
was
our
like
balls.
17.
Now let's talk about bets.
France is definitely the favorite for a reason.
MyBookie.ag is where
I
all
like
the hoop
them.
ballers
I
take
think
care
they're
of
gonna
their
win it all.
winnings and where we place all of our
Here's the thing,
wagers
though.
that we post in
and
our
this is why you
article
gotta
in the
keep paying
Wager
attention to your
Pass,
futures.
as well
Their
as our
first
free
game of
plays
group
and
play,
our
they're in the group
Discord
of death.
chats.
There's 6 groups.
Yes,
There's always one group of death.
MyBookie.ag.
The group
Use
of death
promo
this
code
time is group
Ball
F, I believe is what it is.
HOOPBALL.
Yeah.
Let them know that we
France,
sent you.
Germany,
Hell,
Portugal,
specifically
Hungary.
type in
So
my
you've
name.
got
I
three
want
of the
them to
top
know.
teams right
But
there,
most importantly, you got to let them know what podcast that is, and it is
this
Today
Euro,
in
there's 6
Sports
groups of
Betting.
4.
You let
Top
them
2
know
teams
that
make
we
it,
sent you,
so that
and
gives you
then
12 teams,
we,
and then the other 4
as a
spots for the
family,
round
get
of
to
16
grow, and
is just
then
the
we
next
get to
best
set
4
you up
teams.
to reap more
So
benefits.
more than
And that is
likely,
what's
Germany,
important to
Portugal,
us
and France
because
are
we
all
are
coming
here
out
to
of
help
Group
you
F.
win money.
But
And that is why we
that's a
recommend my
crazy group,
bookie.
and
Their
that's going to
slogan
be
is
some
bet,
high
win,
flying
get paid, and it's
fireworks type
quite
group
simply
games right
that
there.
easy. Use Bitcoin to
Yeah,
get
some
going.
of these
It's a high
groupings
recommendation of
are interesting.
VM Center
There are
at
some
Vince
teams that
Miracle, our
you pointed
guy.
out
It's a
in
recommendation
the
of me.
Discord chat
It's so
that you
easy.
really
Dan
liked,
Besbris, the
as
Podfather,
long
Aaron
shots. We'll
Brewski,
get,
the Godfather.
obviously, we'll get
They
more
get
into
in there. They
those,
get going with Bitcoin. They get their money in and out.
But
And it's
what I'm
easy
looking for
peasy.
here
Hoopball's the
is
promo code. Use that. Let them
I
know that
want to
we
look
sent
for
you. MyBookie.ag.
maybe a team that's got
Bet,
the opposite
win,
of the
get
group
paid.
of death.
Now,
Like a team
as a
that you
podcast, we
think
have your balls
just
and your
got
bets
a
covered.
very,
And without further ado,
fortunate draw.
we have Today
Um,
in Sports Betting.
I'm looking through the groups right now. I would say probably Group C, Netherlands with Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia. That's kind of cakewalkish. You mentioned Group F. It was just crazy. You got Germany, France, and Portugal right there. Group E, Spain, Poland, Sweden, and Slovakia. Spain, if they get past, Poland being testy at times, that'd be a decent matchup there. But Spain, obviously, the favorite in Group E. So it's kind of just looking at and seeing who's got the clear-cut path, but also who has, a challenge, because that's going to help us determine who to back, who to stay away from, especially if we're speaking on totals. Now, you said that you really liked Croatia, I believe it was.
Yeah, so Croatia is not like I think they're going to win it all type of team. But when you look at Group D, it's England, Croatia, Scotland, and the Czech Republic. England is second favored right now to win the whole tournament. I think plus 550 or plus 600 behind France. Here's the thing, though. England is notoriously bad at international play. They choke all the time. They haven't won an international tournament since 51 years ago. So,
wow.
Yeah. 1960, I believe, was
when they won the World Cup, right?
I think so. That was the last time they won, and that was like an extra time victory over West Germany, I believe. I could be getting the teams wrong, but yeah, England hasn't won since then. So while they are favored, and I even had this in my notes a little bit, they are favored, and they always seem to fall short. But it seems like every time there's an international tournament, you hear a lot of the pundits say, well, this is that English team, This is the team that can break the drought. This is the team that can go deep. And another reason for that is because England, you were just talking about the paths. England has one of the easiest paths. Their group isn't necessarily difficult, but once they get out of group, the way the round of 16 is formatted, they will have one of the easier paths to the semifinals and finals if they were to win their group. And they got the 21-year-old phenom, Jadon Sancho, and he got 41 assists for Dortmund this year in the Bundesliga, which is only 2 other players in the top 5 had more assists. That's Thomas Muller and Lionel Messi. So this young kid is a phenomenal player, and he can be that spark for England. And I think England will make a good run. And here in a bit, we'll get to like group futures. And I like them winning their group. But Croatia, if Croatia gets out of their group, they can be one of those dark horse teams where you throw a little flyer on like a top 4 finish, right? And I think top 4 for Croatia is plus 400, plus 500. So, you don't need them to win, but there's some good value on these teams that Croatia made it to the semifinals of the World Cup in 2018. Now, that was like a team of destiny, a lot of people said, but they still have a lot of the same players. And I just feel like Croatia's a team to look out for. I think a lot of people aren't, giving them their due just. They are plus 3,300 to win the whole thing. Again, don't think they're going to win the whole thing, but a top 4 type of bet with Croatia would be something to look out for.
They've got that sneaky striking I just, that you mentioned that 2018 finish, and that was really, really, really fun to watch where they went. I love these like Slovakian, Croatian teams. It's just like their style of play is very specific.
It's a very hard-nosed, like,
yes.
As we say over here in the States, is a blue-collar type of team.
Yeah. Bring your lunch pail.
Yeah.
And your hard hat.
That a lot of those East European teams, and that's a great style of play. If you have a solid defense and you can get the first goal and hold, a lot of teams will employ that tactic. Croatia is great at counterattack as well. So that's why I'm saying England, there's a lot of juice on them to win the group. They're minus 250 to win the group. And again, like I said, plus 600 to win the whole thing, second favorite. But I just can't get around that drought, that trophy drought. You know what I mean? Like that's approaching Cleveland Cavaliers territory where it's like you're going to need a generational player to break that drought. And they had Wayne Rooney at one point, and they still couldn't.
Well, they had Wayne Rooney and like four other guys that were just super studs in the early 2000s. Not to mention pretty great goalkeepers.
Manchester and Arsenal squads of the early 2000s.
Yeah, they had like everybody. I want to throw something at you, and it's a random one, and it's just because I got my bookie pulled up in front of me now. Speaking of which, folks, mybookie.ag. If you don't have an account with them, or you've never had an account with them, or you or a family member want an account with them, reach out to me, reach out to Troy, and let's get you set up with a MyBookie account. I'm not going to spend too much time on the promo reads because we got lots of great soccer stuff to cover. There's a recorded segment in the middle of the show that will tell you all about how you can cash in on some promo codes and products and all that. Let it be known that we will take care of you to get set up with MyBookie if that's the case. Just holler at us.
Holler if you hear me.
Yes. Mbappe is he's plus 900 to be top goal scorer in this Euro Cup. Harry Kane, 550, plus 550. Romelu Lukaku, plus 500. What do you think of Mbappe's odds right there? I mean, that's pretty good.
Obviously, Mbappe is the star of France. He's their primary attacking focus. But they're a team that is so good all around and has so many good players all around. Like, it's not like they're going to be force-feeding Mbappe. He's going to get his touches. He's going to get his chances. But it's not like a Portugal Ronaldo or Belgium Lukaku situation where the offense doesn't run unless they get their touches. France has the ability to get scores from all over. You have Karim Benzema, Paul Pogba in the midfield. They have phenomenal strikers and forward players. So, again, Mbappe is phenomenal. I'm not telling anyone not to bet it. I'm just saying look out for these kind of things. Like you said, he was plus 500 goals scorer.
Plus 900.
Plus 900. So, again, that's good, but they're not going to be force-feeding Mbappe on the French squad. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah, I'm glad I brought it up because hearing you say those things, obviously helped me get a little more perception on the token of conversation here. Like you said, France, obviously really, really balanced team. I was just looking at a couple other long shot things here, and we were talking about some finishes. We're going to get into some group odds here next. Or we can break down the Switzerland and Wales game. That's going to be the first match tomorrow. We can do whatever you want, Troy.
So I got a few more futures notes just to put out there.
Sure. Well, then we'll stick with futures. Italy plus 450 to reach the final. I think that's kind of cool looking.
Again, they're one of the blue bloods flying under the radar.
Uh-huh.
They're, I want to say 6th or 7th favored, something like that. The 3rd favored unit is Belgium, plus 750. And Belgium is that exactly kind of team we were talking about where they're built for let's get our goals when we get them, and then we're just not going to let out goals. And they have Romelu Lukaku, as great a finisher as they come. That's why he's plus 500, you said, to have most goals. So
yeah.
he obviously is the focal point of that offense, but then they also have the reigning back-to-back EPL. They don't call him MVP over there. They call him like Player of the Year or something like that. Kevin De Bruyne from Man City. He got a fractured face a little bit ago, and so he had to have surgery for it, but he's back now. He's with the Belgian squad, and that man can get a pass from any part of the field to anywhere on the field. And when you have him and Lukaku, it's just hard to count out this Belgian squad they're just really, again, another one of those solid all-around teams. And I think that's why that they're third favored. Then I like to look at Portugal, and this is strictly my Ronaldo bias coming out, but Portugal plus 800. You have Ronaldo, you have Nani, you have Quaresma, you have Paulino and Andre Silva, and then in your back four, center back with Pepe, the veteran, Ronaldo top goal scorer is plus 1,300. Here's a fun one for you. It's a double. Portugal winner and Ronaldo top goal scorer plus 3,300. And that's some long value, but I like that because Portugal, they're not going to win a lot of games unless Ronaldo is facilitating the offense, whether it be him getting the goals or at least setting up others with shot rebounds or passes, crosses. Ronaldo's going to be having the ball near the box a lot. So the double of Portugal winning it all and Ronaldo top goal scorer plus 3,300 really catching my eye. I'm probably going to throw a little crumb on that. But again, I'm also super biased. I love Ronaldo. He's the GOAT for me. So keep that in mind.
Well, I want to talk a little bit more about Ronaldo and Portugal because, we were talking about the group of death and how they're always – I'm going to call it the group of death for this tournament because Group F is the death group. So group of death is – we already talked about it, France, Germany, Portugal, Hungary. What team out of France, Germany, and Portugal – and I've got to win the group odds in front of me. France plus 135, Germany plus 125, Portugal plus 350, Hungary plus 4,000 or 40 to 1.
Yeah, Hungary's probably going to lose all three games.
So obviously,
Hungary, right? Like someone's got to be in the group of death, and it was them.
Yeah, so, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's
so out
tough.
Of the top three. I mean, the value with Portugal is immense. So it'd be dumb not to take that. But France and Germany are so good.
Right. Like I said a little bit ago, talking about France, their first match is in Munich, in Germany. That's going to tell us a lot about the team. We can have all of our write-ups and predictions, but the whole different thing when they actually get on the field. And I think I like the France to win the group. Just because I have them winning it all. They're the favorites. Again, though, Germany in Munich. Germany, their last qualifier was a 7-1 win over Latvia. Germany, they're plus 900 to win the whole tournament. They're not like the same Germany they were of like a few years ago where they were just an absolute dominant force. However, they're still filled to the brim with talent. They still got Thomas Muller leading the show. And like I said, they just put up a 7-1 win, so they can still put up goals. So for me, it's hard. I'm going to go with France to win the group, but Germany, that's right there. That might as well be a coin flip to me, especially, like I said, with the first game in Munich. That's going to tell us a lot about these French and German squads.
Yeah. Just a powerhouse of a group there that we're going to have to continuously keep an eye on. That France-Germany match is going to be really, really fun to watch, and I'm excited for it. And the fact that it's their first match in group play, that's pretty pivotal. That's pretty big. And if they were in different groupings, there's a chance they could be meeting in the semifinals and so forth.
You want to win your group because you'll face second or, in this case round, sometimes even the third place team from a group. So winning your group, it's not only beneficial to with your route to the final, but also your matchups because you're going to be playing weaker teams at first. Kind of like getting the 1 seed in the NBA or like the NFL playoffs. You're gonna get that better path that you want.
Right. That clear cut, just easier path. Who doesn't want a path of least resistance?
So I got one more future I want to talk about here real quick.
Go for it.
This is future for the whole tournament. I got a lot of group futures. I got my group predictions. But Spain plus 900 to win the Euros. Now, if you remember the World Cup, Spain fired their manager right beforehand. Then they just got absolutely dominated in entire group play. It was an embarrassment for them. Then they hired Luis Enrique. They had hired him back in 2018, but he had to leave due to family reasons. So now he's back, and he's completely turned this team around. In their 10 qualifiers, they did not lose a match, and they only conceded 5 goals. So they've been really dominant, and they're in phenomenal form. Also, because of certain corona situations where games are being played is a little different than usual, all 3 of Spain's group games – I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say all 3. Just all of their group games are in Spain. So You have Luis Enrique, who's a great coach. The first year he took over Barcelona, they won the treble, which is the 3 top trophies. The second year they won a double, which is 2 of the 3. Only Sergio Busquets is the player from like the golden era of Spain, and he's 33, which is ancient in soccer years. But he still is having a phenomenal year. He had a great year for his club. And now he's going to have the control of the midfield for Spain. And with the backing of Luis Enrique, like I said, they've turned it around. This is another one of those paths where, okay, all of our games are in Spain. So if they win the group, again, they're setting themselves up for a great run. And them plus 900 to win it all, that's some good value to me. Just because, like I said, they haven't lost in their 10 qualifiers, only let up 5 goals. They're a really good team that I think people are sleeping on just because of their most recent performances in international play.
Hoop ballers. Let's talk about your balls. Yep, your balls and the area around them. Let's talk about manscaped.com. Go there and use promo code HoopBall20, HOOPBALL20. Use the promo code and go check out all the tools they have of trimming the hedges and taking care of your lawn, like the Lawnmower 3.0 with a built-in LED light to help you get into those dark dye crevices on the inner parts. Also, the Gooch. It is hard to get to the Gooch if you can't see it. So use the LED light with the anti-tugless technology on the razor, full long battery life. Then check out the Weed Whacker. Bring that out of the shed. Use it on your shrubs. Cut down what you need, down to bare minimum if you need to. It's got a nice anti-tugless technology just like the Lawnmower 3.0. It's also got a lithium battery. And best news of all, these things are waterproof. So that way you can do it in the shower and take care of business in the cleanest way possible. Hoopball20 is the promo code that's going to get you free shipping as well as 20% off. I recommend using it. I recommend getting the complete care kit with your free shipping and your 20% off. Spend a little extra, get a lot more. There's a good care kit there for us gentlemen: face scrub, shampoo, ball treatment, and the area that surrounds our balls. I believe there's even a pair of underwear in there for our balls. So yeah, that's going to conclude the talk about our balls. Now let's talk about bets. MyBookie.ag is where all the hoop ballers take care of their winnings and where we place all of our wagers that we post in our article in the Wager Pass, as well as our free plays and our Discord chats. Yes, MyBookie.ag. Use promo code HOOPBALL, HOOPBALL. Let them know that we sent you. Hell, specifically type in my name. I want them to know. But most importantly, you got to let them know what podcast that is. And it is Today in Sports Betting. You let them know that we sent you, and then we as a family get to grow. And then we get to set you up to reap more benefits. And that is what's important to us, because we are here to help you win money. And that is why we recommend MyBookie. Their slogan is bet, win, get paid. And it's quite simply that easy.
use Bitcoin to get going. That's a high recommendation of VM Center at Vince Miracle, our guy. It's a recommendation of me. It's so easy. Dan Bespris, the Podfather, Aaron Bruschi, the Godfather, they get in there, they get going with Bitcoin, they get their money in and out, and it's easy peasy. Hoopball's the promo code. Use that. Let them know that we sent you. mybookie.ag. Bet, win, get paid. Now, as a podcast, we have your balls and your bets covered. And without further ado, we have Today in Sports Betting.
I remember that managerial change right before the World Cup and, thinking that was the kind of odd timing to do that. And then, like you said, just kind of look how they came out in that World Cup. I think there's some retribution for one of the Blue Bloods, or if you want to, Red Bloods in this soccer tournament. And they've been down, a little bit the last year or so. And I think it's a good turnaround point here. Those home games are definitely going to help. And, I just went ahead and threw a little schmeckle on it while you were talking about it. So, listeners, you should probably do the same.
A little schmeckle.
Yes.
All right. Let me get my group predictions out there.
Absolutely.
So
here, let me tee up a group, and then we'll talk. All right, so Italy, Switzerland, Turkey, Wales. Group A, Italy obviously minus 185, Switzerland plus 450, Turkey plus 450, Wales plus 800. Go.
Italy. Italy's winning that group. If Italy doesn't win that group, it's a serious letdown and concern for them. Even if they get second, going into knockout play, you're going to be like, what are they doing? That should be 3 wins for them. Minus 180. There's the juice there, but it's there for a reason. They're going to win.
It's less than $2 on juice, which once we get to Spain's odds in their group, we'll see some serious juice.
Exactly.
Group B, Belgium, Denmark, Russia, Finland. Belgium minus 135, Denmark plus 275, Russia plus 400, Finland 16-1 plus 1600.
Belgium again. It's a situation where they got a really good draw. Denmark maybe will give them some problems, but I don't see it happening. I mean, that'll be probably the one group game they might struggle with, just because Denmark has some good matchups for them. But Belgium for sure. I'm taking that.
I was thinking Belgium, Denmark, is the top 2. Russia is the dark horse. We've seen them have a little bit of recent success in some friendlies and tournaments and all that good stuff. Win, draw, loss, win for their last 5, Russia. So not a chump team by any means. They got that Croatia style of play that we talked about earlier.
I think a big part of why they made a good run in the World Cup as well is because they were the host nation.
Yes.
That can really do a lot for you. And I think that's why now that they're not hosting, their odds have gone a little longer. But, I think Netherlands, Denmark are the top 2. And you can even get some doubles on a group play. I don't have one for Group C, but there's a couple that I have lined up, like for Group F, for example. But we'll get to that in a second.
Sure. Okay, so Group C, here's some juice for us. Netherlands minus 250, Austria plus 550, Ukraine plus 450, North Macedonia, poor country. They try in soccer, plus 2,000, so 20-1. Netherlands, Ukraine.
I'm saying Netherlands, and here's a double I was actually going to get you. So Netherlands is minus 220, whatever you just said, to win the group. They're going to win the group. They should win the group. But consider this. Austria has 21 players from the top 5 leagues, and that's most of any team in this tournament. So They don't have superstars. They don't have the household names, but they have good players. So they have good serviceable players and some good depth. So Netherlands, Austria double qualifier is plus 300, and I like that. That's some good value right there.
Heck yeah. Now, I was actually going to ask you because, this is the most soccer betting I've done for a little while. When you look for these double odds, and I'm on my bookie right now, they may not have them loaded yet, but when you're looking, where are you finding these double odds? Or is that something, and this is also for me, but for the listeners, but say they just want to do it, they can probably Google Euro 2020 double odds.
So it's typically found within, like, wherever the group play odds will be at. That's where you'll have it, like group winner odds, because then you can have, that's where your doubles will be at, because it's predicting which two teams are coming out of the group. I'm trying to find it on my bookie. All I'm seeing right now is
I don't think they have it.
They might not have it up right now, but you can definitely get it out. And again, this is why I always say to the people in the Discord, you got to shop around for your lines, because different books offer different, not only different lines, but sometimes different services, different bets that you can have. So it's always good to just, keep your options open, see where you can get the best stuff. And this is an example where, we love my bookie. They just don't have it up yet, or we just can't find it. That also is a real possibility. But you can typically find it around your group odds on whatever site you're using.
Yeah, I've got the Euro 2020 odds group stage drop down, and it goes Euro 2020 match odds, UEFA Euro 2020 to win, Euro 2020 group stage odds. So not seeing them having it loaded right now. Maybe they get it loaded here before the Italy-Turkey game. You'd think that's something that if a book's going to offer it, they'd have it up before the first game of a tournament.
Right. They also sometimes, like, it's taken me a little bit just to get used to their their interface. Sometimes you got to do a little searching and scrolling, especially on props.
Yeah. The props builder is something that I've definitely been utilizing instead of going into individual games, trying to get my props. Changed my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that was a listener in the Discord that said something, one day in the NBA thread, and I was just like, oh yeah, duh, what, jackass, like that makes a lot of sense. Like, why wouldn't I do it that way?
Group D,
England minus 250, Croatia plus 300, Czech Republic 12-1, Scotland 16-1.
So England minus 250, a lot of juice delay there, and that's actually why I'm staying away from that, just because I got to see it. I keep seeing them choke, and I got to see England do it. The Croatia, I saw that as high as plus 350 last night. So Croatia to win the group is something. If they can snag their game against England, even a draw to get a point, then they just have to face the Czech Republic and Scotland. They can position themselves to win the group
with 5 points. Because it wins 2 points, is that, or is it 3?
Win is 3. Win is 3. A draw is 1.
That's right. Yeah, so it'd be 7 points. Heck yeah, absolutely. And again, like we've talked about this Croatian style of play. I think England can honestly just be very susceptible to that kind of play, a
counter-attacking type.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. And in England also, I think I mentioned it earlier, they have the benefit that Spain also has. All of their group games are in England. So I think that might have something to do with coronavirus still ravaging other countries. We're kind of lucky here to be in America where we rolled out that vaccine quick. Not every country has that. So that's a reason why not the scheduling and hosting is a little off. And even other tournaments like the South African, the Cotton Bowl, it started out in Argentina, then they had to move it. Then they moved it to, I want to say like Paraguay or Venezuela, had to move it out of there. Now it's in Brazil. Brazil's still dealing with COVID. It's a tricky situation. And that's why teams like Spain and England have the ability to have all their group games in their country, which I think will help a lot.
Huge beneficiary. Group E, I think, is probably the last one we'll talk about because we've already hit Group F pretty heavy and we talked about those odds. Spain, we talked about the juice at minus 300. Poland plus 550. Sweden plus 600. Slovakia plus 1,400. So 14-1 odds. Are you going to try to talk the people into laying minus 300 on Spain?
I'm not going to talk anyone into laying minus 300, but the double of Spain-Poland, those are who I think is coming into that group. So if you can find the double of Spain-Poland, that'd be a good one. And, I mean, hey, if you're that confident in Spain, again, 300, minus 300, that's a lot of juice to lay, but sometimes it is, that easy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sweden at any moment can, draw with anyone. They've got decent enough striking to do so and an awkward style of play. The goalkeeping for Poland and Sweden is obviously going to be the biggest deal. Keeping them in games, to try to maybe get a draw or something with Spain. But then ultimately Poland, Sweden's going to beat up on each other. Poland, obviously the better team. So yeah, that makes a whole lot of sense to me.
Sweden also, Zlatan Ibrahimovic is not participating in the tournament. That's their all-time best player, and he's not in. So that's a big reason why Sweden has these long odds.
Gotcha. I thought and I was trying to think of a couple of players for Sweden, and how dare I forget Ibrahimovic. It's like he's like one of the biggest names. But I remember them actually losing people off of their international roster, some guys to retirement, etc.
So before we hop off this group thing, I know we talked about the group of death and their odds. How about this double, though? France, Portugal, plus 300. Those three, France, Germany, and Portugal, are more than likely all going to qualify. So it's just who's going to be the top two. And France, Portugal has those good odds that I like. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So
I do. I like that.
A little something to throw a little half unit on for me. Again, I'm biased for the Portuguese, but France, I have them winning the whole thing. Portugal, threw a little flyer on them winning it all. And like I said earlier, the Ronaldo-Portugal double result for Ronaldo to score most goals and Portugal to win plus 3,300. I mean, that's the thing with soccer is you can find these big value bets that aren't necessarily difficult.
Huge risk,
the risk and probability doesn't necessarily line up with the odds that are presented. And again, it's soccer, so anything can happen. We were talking about at the beginning of the show. Everyone's on the edge of their seat until a goal is scored, and then it's an explosion of emotion. So at any moment, a team can make it happen. That's just how sports are. Any given day, anyone can beat anyone.
Go 88 minutes, and then in the 89th minute, a team that's got the less shots on goal, the poor quality shots,
someone finds all it takes is one good strike,
or one lucky ricochet.
Yeah, anything. So that double of France Portugal, I like France to win it all. Like I said, I got a little bit on Portugal and Spain as well in there, and a very minuscule amount on Croatia top 4 finish, just because that's plus 500 odds. And again, there's all these, top scorer team winning results. And they don't necessarily have to be the same team. I saw one that was France wins it, but Harry Kane is the top scorer, Harry Kane of England. So you can find certain matches that you think will happen. It doesn't necessarily have to be a Frenchman if France wins at all.
Right. So let's briefly recap our top 2 on each group. It sounds like you and I are pretty much in, unison. Group A, Italy, Switzerland.
I like Turkey.
That's right. Turkey. Okay. Belgium.
Denmark.
Did we say Denmark? Yeah, Denmark.
Yeah.
Belgium, I know we talked about Russia a little bit, but coming off that host tournament, we got a little less high energy. Netherlands, Ukraine.
I say Austria. I had that Netherlands-Austria double that was, I think, plus 300 to 400. And that's because, like I said, Austria has the most players on their squad out of the top 5 leagues. Of any squad in this Euro, they have the most coming from your top 5 European leagues. So, like I said, no superstar names, no household names. But
tons of depth.
Exactly. Tons of depth, which can be critical coming into the later stages of tournaments and group games.
Absolutely. Okay, Netherlands, Austria. Group D, England, Croatia.
Yep.
Obviously. But not particularly in that order.
Yeah.
I mean, Croatia at plus 300 is staring me in the face right here on this one, just because England, like you said, I've been waiting since I was a little tyke to see them, capture it.
There are senior citizens that have been waiting since they were little tykes to see them win it all.
I mean, chump change over here. I've only been waiting 25 plus years. There's folks going on 60, 60 something like
Yeah, it's been
Anyways,
51 years or something
yeah,
like that. So it's been a while for them.
it's been a while. I just saw something on Twitter and it was like my brain every time I hear someone say it's been a while, and then the bottom picture is of Aaron Gray on the acoustic guitar.
Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, and Thomas Hearns. Legends, whose four-way rivalry defined one of the greatest eras in boxing history. Relive their decade of dominance in a new Showtime sports documentary, The Kings, a 4-part series now streaming on Showtime.
In the music video of It's Been a While with all the candles around them.
That's pretty much what my brain does too. I don't even necessarily like that song, but sometimes that stuff
but
happens.
anytime someone says it's been a while, my brain instantly, I even say it, I sing it in my head and I go, it's been a while. So yeah, anytime. It just never stops. So sorry listeners, you have stained in your head now. And you know, that could be good or bad depending on who you ask. Just go listen to Love Shack and then you'll be good. It'll be out of your noggin in no time. Or Shiny Happy People by REM. There you go. We'll just get all sorts of stuff stuck in your head. Spain, Poland.
Poland, yeah. Spain, Poland are my top two.
And then France, Portugal.
France, Portugal. So that's the thing is 4 of these 6 are going to have, well, I shouldn't say 4 of these 6 groups. The next best 4 teams after the top 2 of each group. So it's more than likely going to be, 4 different groups are sending 3 teams, but, there could be a situation where a group has nothing but draws and then they get, all of their group out of there. Highly unlikely. But like I said, France, Portugal for me. Germany will be the 3rd out of there. I think Group B is another one where you have Belgium, Denmark, and Russia. I think, excuse me, I think Group A is another one as well where Switzerland, they have a lot of depth as well, so they'll likely make it to the knockout round. So, yeah, it's interesting because we're used to just picking 2 teams from each group, but now this new format has it where there's going to be these additional 4 teams who will make it out of the group. So it's going to be real interesting. It's going to be a month of anarchy, and I'm super looking forward to it.
Anarchy. I know what it means, and I love it. All right, so Italy, Turkey today. We've talked about that game. You want to jump into these matchups for Saturday, Troy?
Yeah, let's look at a couple of these Saturday matchups.
All right, so Switzerland and Wales is the first one at 9 a.m. Central Time. Or 8 a.m., 9 Eastern.
9 Eastern, 9 a.m. Eastern.
And we got a spread, obviously, of a half goal, plus 104 to Switzerland, minus 140. Getting the plus half goal to Wales, plus 104 again for the money line on Switzerland, plus 267 for Wales, over under 1.5.
Yeah, this
heavy shade to the over, minus 175 to the over.
This is going to be a low-scoring game, and I like Switzerland to win it, but Wales does have Gareth Bale. Yes. So the draw at plus 168, definitely something to look out for. I honestly, I think it'll be a draw. I'll say it here. I'll promote it on Twitter. Draw plus 168, but don't be surprised if Switzerland gets the money line win there.
Yeah. And you know what is so phenomenal is when you're looking at these games on your book, or whatever you use, hopefully it's mybookie.ag after you signed up with promo code HoopBall. But you see, like on MyBookie down in the bottom right corner, it says like 40 more for like all the props or whatever. All these games have 139 more bet selections.
Because there's draw no bets, there's aways wins, there's double results, there's
over under red cards.
Oh yeah, over under corners. There's all kinds of stuff you can get in soccer, and it's really amazing.
It's so good. It's a little overwhelming, and I'm trying so hard not to click this 139 more right now because I know there is a rabbit hole of galactical proportions that I will not be able to remove myself out of. And maybe whenever we're not doing a recording, I can do that.
Yeah, when we're not live, we'll dive deep into these.
Yeah, that's just crazy. 140 more bets. That's just wow. Okay. All right. So we think the draw at plus 168's got some great value in this game. Switzerland overall probably looking to win this one with that depth and the talent. Gareth Bale, though, being on the Wales team, that is a prominent and dominant striker to be very fearful
He's
of.
getting back into form, too.
Yes. Yeah. Because he had some lower leg injuries recently or something happened.
Yeah, I believe he had an ankle injury a year or two ago, and so it's just kind of been like a nagging thing. But now lately, he's finally starting to get his form back.
Yeah,
really good recently.
I mean, he was whatever league he's in, he's almost a lock for like the Golden Spikes or whatever the award is. I mean, he is he's talented. He's talented. Finland and Denmark. Finland being I don't know if it's disrespected, but I mean they're plus 628 as an underdog, over under 2.5, under 2.5 getting some heavy shade of minus 163. Denmark minus 263 is the favorite on the money line. To cover their 1.5 goal spread, they are at plus 125 and a draw sitting at plus 272.
So Denmark will probably win. Minus 250 is a little bit much to lay. If you are on Tally site, if you looked, I've submitted a bunch of picks for group games so far. I didn't get too far ahead in the schedule, but I just submitted some futures and group picks. Most of mine are unders. Like these under 2.5s, there's a reason they have a lot of juice, and that's because where are the goals going to come from? You know what I mean? There's a lot of these teams these aren't the star-studded teams that we're accustomed to seeing. Finland, Denmark. Just not going to I just don't see 3 goals happening unless it's just a barn burner shootout. But then you look at the 3, that's the noon game is Finland, Denmark. Look at the 3:00 game between Russia and Belgium. Belgium's half goal favorites, minus 123. Russia, minus 109. Over unders 2.5. The unders minus 144. The overs plus 104. Draw sitting at plus 200, and Russia money line plus 305. I got to go with Belgium here. I think they're going to win the group. This is a great way to start with a good dub over Russia. So I like Belgium and the under in that one. But, that's me. And like I said, if you go to Tally site, you can see a lot more of these picks that I've laid down as well. And in the Discord. And in the Discord. Yeah, we've been getting heavy up in the Discord, especially with NBA.
Hot and heavy. And we've brought in some new MLB guys and stuff, so baseball is getting chatted about now that we're almost to the All-Star break a lot more. So Discord is just a funky bunch of people, and it's like we're inside of a disco ball. So it's a good, fun, grand old time to be at. I am also going to be locking in these Belgium plays as we do this. I am going to support you and your analysis, Troy, and I am going with Belgium in the under.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Yes.
Give me something to hyperventilate about a little bit, So I love soccer, and honestly, this is my first big thing to do as, a part of a handicapping crew and as a part owner / curator guy thing of a podcast. So this is very exciting. And I am just like a hamster in a wheel candy store. I don't know. It's all over the place today. It's Friday. Let's leave Sunday's games. Saturday's going to be fun. We talked today's game. We talked all the groups. But man, we
just did a good 45 minutes on Euros, and we still.
I was about to say, did we?
Baseball, and we got some NBA to go through as well.
Did we get all that? I think we
got
did
a lot. We got group futures, tournament futures, group games. We just
doubles
so much. Yeah, doubles, goal scorers, all kinds of stuff.
Yes. All right, let's transition into something else real briefly. I want to just real quickly, because there's a couple of games that are just really catching my eyes fancy, and I want to update us on what's going on with the college super regionals currently right now as we have a game going. So I'll be really, really, really brief here, Troy, because I know college baseball is not exactly your wheelhouse. And then honestly, I'm not even sure how big our listening group is and how many of them actually stay tuned in when I start talking about college baseball. So I talked about Vanderbilt struggling. I'm going to compare them to Italy, being one of the blue bloods that are going under the radar. Right now, they're winning a dominant 2-0 game against East Carolina. And Vanderbilt's pitching is just so dominant and just so deep. They've got a kid named Rocker as one of their starters. We'll probably see him throw a complete game one or no hitter throughout the college tournament. He's that dominant. He's a pitching prospect for the majors. And look, Vanderbilt, you probably could have got some really good odds on them to win or to make it to the College World Series before this started. But once we get through this East Carolina game and they win their next game, and they do it in a dominating fashion, good luck at getting any kind of value on Vanderbilt. I talked about it a couple, 2, 3, 4, whatever many days ago it was. Vanderbilt definitely under the radar, and you were probably able to find some decent value on them. Currently winning 2-0, bottom of the eighth. They got one out, and they have 2 base runners on right now, Vanderbilt does. That's the Nashville Super Regional Game 1, best out of 3. Obviously, we're looking out for Arkansas at 5 p.m. today. They're going to be playing NC State in the Fayetteville Super Regional Game 1. Arkansas, the number 1 overall seed in this tournament. That's all I'm going to say because they're the number 1 seed. That's what we're looking out for. We're looking out to see how dominant they can be. My favorite game tomorrow, Dallas Baptist. They just hired Lance Berkman to come and be their coach. He will start full-time this offseason, but for the time being, Dallas Baptist is in good hands with their current manager, with their current staff. This has been one of the most consistent baseball programs over the last 15 years. They have a chance to knock Virginia out. Virginia squeaked by in the Old Dominion, Columbia Regional, and now they squeaked by and they get to host a Super Regional, Virginia does. But Dallas Baptist, they have got some great pitching. They've got a great defensive unit. The infield is phenomenal. Dallas Baptist is one of my favorite underdog in this whole field. They are so talented, but they're such a small program, but they're always in these super regionals. So, battle-tested, small team going up against Virginia, who probably shouldn't be here. They almost lost to Scrubs. Well, they did lose to some Scrubs in their group play. So they had to come back from the loser side of the bracket, and they squeaked by Old Dominion in the clinching games. So look for Dallas Baptist, who just dominated the Fort Worth Regional, which was a tough one with TCU and their MLB pitching staff. So I'm looking for that. Looking for the winner of LSU and Tennessee, because I think that the winner of that can honestly win this whole thing. LSU squeaked by. They shouldn't have. They're the equivalent of the Florida State women's softball team for men's baseball. The Florida State women's team went 10 straight elimination games and won all 10 of them. So LSU, they got lucky. They got through the group stage that they probably shouldn't have. But they have the talent, they have the pitching, they have the coaching enough to go up against this conference foe in Tennessee, who's one of the more favorite teams to win. But the winner out of this series is going to have some success moving on in the tournament is my general point. And then that's how I'm going to leave the NCAA Super Regionals for right now. We have 2 more games for today, and tomorrow is going to be loaded between Super Regionals and Euros and MLB. And speaking of MLB, we're going to leave it off today's recording because we have got a massive long show and we still got some NBA to talk about, and we've got some other angles that we want to dig into. So MLB, sorry guys, not today. I still got to do my dig-ins. I've got some picks made on Tally Site as bookmarks, as holders. So make sure to check out the progress there. I am going to be digging in very deep and getting some plays out. Today actually might be another lab day for me with minimal plays. It worked out for me Monday,
because the 2 days after that, I went 19-7 for positive 13.7 units. And then yesterday, I shat the bed. So I might need a lab day before the weekend, also a lab day so I can watch some Euros, watch some Super Regionals, and also just be a person. It's Friday, Troy.
Exactly.
We all need lab days.
I like to just watch sports. You know what I'm saying? It already raises my blood pressure enough just watching them, let alone betting on it.
Exactly. And with the kind of handicapper I am, just personally speaking, the eye test, me putting my eyes on something, watching, intaking, and just getting some exposure is huge for my betting style, for my analysis. I'm a very intuitive bettor, if you will. My write-ups used to feature like every stat that I could fit in there, right? But people change, and I am a more no-nonsense bettor now, and a lot more intuitive, a lot more just gut, eye test, recent, kind of stuff, but overall general knowledge of what's going on. And I love deep diving into player metrics. So eye test and just being a fan of the game is huge for handicapping, in my opinion.
I'm with you. I like the eye test. I like the number. I like to just get as much info as I can, My eyes will tell me a lot. Box scores will tell me a lot, and just using all of it.
Yeah. I mean, the only way your eyes will lie to you – actually, I don't know. We're not going to get philosophical with it, Troy, but, I mean, your eyes will lie to you about a lot. And I'm not saying that the eye test is the most perfect route to take for sports bettors or sports handicappers, but – I like it because it gives me an excuse to say, hey, I'm watching sports and this is work. I'm getting paid for this, blah, 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 blah. So that's the notion that I take and that I'm running with. So, all right, bud, let's get into some NBA now.
Yeah, let's wrap this show up with the NBA. My favorite, playoffs.
Sixers, Hawks. This is a series, man. Man, before the NBA season started, me and Brad Harden, our Hoop Ball Hawks cover, we were stoked to do a show together, a collab, because going into this NBA season, and it was excitement stemming from last year, the Hawks were going to be my most favorite team to keep an eye on in this season, and I thought that they were going to be a 4 or 5 seed in the season, or in the postseason. Brad and I said that to begin the NBA season on a preview show, and this Hawks team, Nate McMillan, man, he was their burning bush. And I think you and I have even talked about it, but just the veteran coaching that Lloyd Pierce had behind him, behind his ear the whole season,
Since McMillan took – I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, no, you're fine. And I wasn't exactly sure where I was going with that point either, so I probably should have just baton-handed it. I think that was a little intimidating to Lloyd Pierce. Should have been comforting. But I think ultimately Lloyd Pierce knew they want Nate McMillan to be their coach.
Yeah, it's no surprise that since McMillan took over on March 1st, the Hawks have the best record in the NBA.
And look at their defensive adjustments.
Yeah, they were a good team beforehand, but it feels like they went from good to a great team.
Their defensive rotations and their zones, just the communication that's going on. One thing to keep an eye out on, though, is now wasn't it DeAndre Hunter that was just ruled out for the rest of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if it was him or if it was who's the other kid they drafted the same year? Man, I'm so bad at this, Troy. Anyways, nonetheless, DeAndre Hunter is the guy that's out. And how do you think that's going to have a huge impact on this Philly series?
Also, real quick, I think Kevin Huerter is who you're thinking of.
It wasn't, but proceed.
Okay. Well, yeah, I think that will be a factor. I still think Philly wins the series, but the first game in Atlanta tonight, I think is going to be barn burner, and I like Atlanta to win tonight. I like the under 224.5. I like Atlanta. Like I said, it's the first game in Atlanta. Nate McMillan's going to have them right. Trae Young is going to ball per usual. What blows my mind is that Ben Simmons is a point guard and the Hack-a-Simmons strategy works. Just imagine going back even like 10 years and saying to an NBA fan, eventually hack a point guard will be an implemented strategy. They'd laugh at you. They'd be like, point guards make 90% of their free throws. Ben Simmons, for some reason, like there was this thread. I forget who started it, but it was breaking down how Ben Simmons plays a lot like an Australian rules football player. And it makes sense that because he's from Australia. But, like, the way he moves, like if someone's moving and cutting, he'll find them immediately because that's a part of AFL is a lot of cuts and movement to get you down the field. And so he's amazing at that. But then, like, if he gets the ball down low and everything's stagnant, no one's really moving, it's interesting because you'd think he would be able to back down any other point guard or, you know, should be able to hit a jumper, but since he can't do those things, it kind of limits the Sixers' offense to specific sets that they just have to run. And sometimes Doc Rivers is a great coach, but sometimes he gets a little stubborn and just won't implement the right adjustment or will stick to it. I understand sticking to your game plan is a big thing in the NBA, but sometimes you just have to abandon ship and run on the fly. And when Ben Simmons, unless he's running downhill in a half-court offense, it's been interesting to see how the Hawks have contained him in a way.
I mean, you're in the playoffs. You're going to have to think outside the box. And if Doc Rivers is going to have some success, and one of the biggest knocks on him as a coach is his postseason and his unwillingness to – like, he'll get to the border edge of the box, but he just never goes outside of it. Look, I'm saying that if I'm him, and I'm not because I'm not an NBA coach. I never have been, but, you know.
If I were, though.
If I was, you've got to take Ben Simmons out in the fourth quarter until he starts getting his shit together. Like, you've got to take him out in large 5-minute, 3-minute increments. And guys like Seth Curry can handle the ball. Or Mike freaking Scott, who's a veteran and will hit his free throws. But it just limits the Sixers as far as what they do in a half set, in a half-court set. And I think it forces them to push and to force and thinking like, okay, we can't let Ben get fouled right here, so let's just send Ben straight to the cup and he gets a layup. If he doesn't, whatever. Or it's just, let Embiid dribble the ball up and then this, that. There are so many different ways to go about this, but they're not even looking to take like one different way. It's just they're still letting it happen. And how, as a franchise, as a coaching staff, have you not freaking worked on this kid's free throw? You want him to be the 99% of your offense and have the ball in his hand every minute of the game, but he can't hit his free throws. He is such a liability, especially in the playoffs, and it's garbage. You can't do that to your squad and think that, like, you're going to be able to roll over a team like the Hawks, because you're not going to be able to, because you're looking at the Hawks with this crazy offense and thinking, oh, they're just offense. They're offense. They're going to defend you too. Don't forget who is coaching.
Tell they're just offense to Clint Capella, and he'll block it into the stands.
I mean, John Collins is a good defender too. Look at Trae Young's defense since Nate McMillan's taken over. He's getting in guys' chests a lot more. Kevin Huerter is a great perimeter defender, and if he gets blown by, guess who's looking to block shots?
It's just crazy to me that I'm more confident in Joel Embiid taking a free throw, and especially a three-pointer, than I am in the point guard of the team. Like, that shouldn't be a thing. Everyone always has been saying since Ben Simmons was in LSU, like, oh, he's the next LeBron. Well, he's not, because he can't hit a jumper. At least LeBron could shoot. And LeBron's worst knock is his free throws, obviously. But he still makes, 79% of them? Far ahead of Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, just
in the 60s.
A summer just working on free throws and elbow jumpers.
It's just – or like a different shot, like a push shot, a mini hook.
Floater, a floater, a teardrop.
Something.
Anything.
An offhand move. Like, just – he
He's been doing the same stuff since college, and I just do not understand the hype. He is a great player, and if he could complete his skill sets or round them out a little bit more, he would be one of my most favorite players in the NBA. But the kid just – I don't get it. At least when LeBron went to Miami and his biggest deficiency that was talked about, he can't shoot. He has no mid-range jumper. He can't shoot. What did LeBron do?
Worked on it.
I am a LeBron hater. Like, I understand how great he is, but he's not Michael Jordan, and he's not even Kobe to me. I'm sorry. I know it's unpopular.
All right.
I know.
We'll save that talk for a different show.
I know. And I know that Kobe is not LeBron, and I say that in a complete mirroring fashion with as much respect as I can. But Kobe has something that no one no one else ever will ever have. And that is the Mamba mentality. Like, it is just a thing. It's a thing.
Hey, Devin Booker, though. Devin
Booker and Jason Tatum,
yeah,
I will say, they've got the closest to the Mamba mentality in the young core of players that we have in the NBA. So, speaking of Devin Booker and the Suns, let's talk about how they're underdogs tonight on the road in Denver. Denver, a 1-point favorite, minus 115 on the money line. Denver's got to win this one. I mean,
they have to, and I'm surprised that they're only 1-point favorites. But I mean, the Sun, is it the high altitude or what? But the Suns, they're even money on the money line right now. What I'm looking at, and
yep,
I see no reason not to take them. Jokic is in a situation where it's like everyone else has to hit their shots at an amazing clip, or they're just not going to win. Jokic can do whatever. He can put up 45, 10, and 5, and that's phenomenal. And the Suns will live with that if that means Michael Porter Jr. is not hitting his shots. And as soon as he doesn't hit his shot, he just slumps his shoulders, and it's kind of like, oh, man. And it's like that's the kind of stuff that will just – Chris Paul will look at that and be like, let's go. Let's attack him because he's not in it right now. It's really easy for MPJ to kind of get out of the game and get in his head, which is crazy because he was shooting like 50% from three this year. But unless the Nuggets are just hitting their shots, I don't see it happening. I mean, Jokic, I don't want to say young LeBron. It just reminds me of LeBron's first stint in Cleveland in that
San Antonio series.
It was just that he just doesn't he can do everything and he can go out of his way to set up his teammates. But if they're not hitting shots, it just doesn't matter.
It don't matter.
Yeah, and I don't necessarily think that they'll hit those shots at a big level, at least more than the Suns do, because the Suns shoot at a ridiculous clip, and their offense is only getting hotter as we've gone on in the playoffs.
That's, something that I was going to point out. They can hit their shots. Sure, good on them if they're going to do it. But who's stopping Chris Paul, or who's stopping Devin Booker, or who's stopping Jay Crowder now, or even McCall Bridges? I think collectively Phoenix is just
they're so good. Andre
better.
Ayton is too.
Ayton, yeah.
He's even better than he was as a prospect coming out of college, which is crazy.
He's playing the best basketball of his life right now in his first playoff experience.
Yeah, I believe against the Lakers was like 75% from the field, which is the most in a series.
Yeah.
With 50 attempts, and that's ever. Most of anyone in NBA history, he had the best field goal percentage in a series.
That means better than Shaq.
Devin Booker looks like young Dwayne Wade out there getting fouled and still chucking it up, and it just swishes right in, and you're like, that had no business going in, but it is. Like, Devin Booker is channeling that young Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant shooting guard where he's just, I'm going to score. You will not stop him from scoring. So I like the Suns plus 100, plus 1 as well on the spread, and the under. This is going to go under. We're talking about how great scoring teams they are, but it's not like they do it at a high pace. The Suns still were, I think, 28th or 29th in pace in the league, so they do it methodically and surgically where they pick you apart.
Yeah. One last little Chris Paul tidbit I want to throw out there, and I heard it on Pardon the Interruption yesterday when I was watching it. And I had the epiphany, Troy. I don't know if you are a PTI guy. I'm a lot less an ESPN guy now I've gotten into my older years. I first started watching PTI when I was in 4th grade. And that hit me yesterday when I was watching Tony Kornheiser and Michael Wilbon. And I was just like, man, these guys have been doing it for a long time. And Tony Kornheiser pulled out I tweeted about it, pulled out his yellow notepad, which I use a yellow notepad pretty much probably because of Tony Kornheiser in a subconscious, subliminal manner.
Right.
I have my yellow notepad on my desk currently that I use my handwriting stuff for. And, I love when Tony Kornheiser pulls his yellow notepad out and he puts his glasses on. He started rattling off some stuff about Chris Paul, right? So there's only been 10 NBA players in the history of the NBA when they first started recording the stat of assists, which became to fruition in 1976. 76 or 78. I know it's one of the two. 76, I believe. Chris Paul owns a third of the 10 times it's happened. So 3 out of the 10 times it's happened in the NBA history that a player has recorded at least, I think it was at least 15 or at least 20, but at least 15 assists with 0 turnovers for a full game. How do you stop a guy that can do that? He's not going to put his team in a bad position ever. He's accounting for at least 30 points right there, doing historical things, not even talking about his scoring or every other dynamic he controls. I think we're just seeing the most highest, most sun-charged point god CP3 that we've ever seen. This CP3 version, this is Cell in his final form, I think.
I like that Dragon Ball reference, but I very openly don't like Chris Paul. I've admitted it, but he is one of the greatest game managers in NBA history. I mean, when he wants the offense to do certain things, certain motions, he's telling these younger players what to do. He's putting them in the right spots to find them in their rhythm and their shots. People saying he should have got MVP are just ludicrous in my opinion. However, he was averaging 16 points a game in the regular season and all of his assists, and now he's just gone into full point guard mode where he's like, I don't care if I get 2 or 4 points or 0 points if I get 20 assists. And he's just doing all the right things for the Suns to put them in a position to be their best. And I think that's part of why, like, Booker and Ayton are playing their best basketball, and that's because they're phenomenal talents. But it's the other guys, the Mikal Bridges that you were talking about, the Jay Crowders. It's because of Chris Paul's leadership, I think, that they are really stepping up, especially here in the playoffs.
Well, look at the development of freaking Cameron Payne. Cam Payne, just getting to be behind a guy like Chris Paul. Like, how fortuitous and fruitful of that is the circumstance is that. That's just – you as Cameron Payne, sure, he was going into the offseason before CP3 came in thinking like, oh, I'm going to be the starting point guard of the Phoenix. And then like they signed Chris Paul. I guarantee he was not mad at all. I think he probably was just like, oh, hell yeah, I'm about to learn. I'm about to, work.
Oh, yeah.
And, Cam Johnson has been pretty, he needs to be doing a little bit more. But, when he gets out there and gets the run going, that kid can stroke it too. So don't discount the stretchability that he can offer, especially with a CP3 out there inner working, the second unit, the younger guys. So this is a very interesting Phoenix team.
Absolutely. They're probably going to come out of the West, in my opinion, and for good reason. They finished the season on a 30-10 tear. So they just got hot at the right time and have just been dominating people. So it's really interesting to see how they work. And like I said, the others have been stepping up. And if you can hit your shots, but can you hit more shots than the Suns? And right now, the Nets are the only team that really look like they can. And the Jazz. The Jazz put up 20-something threes in the first quarter or something last night. The Jazz, when their offense is rolling, that's just the thing. It's not always. Whereas the Suns, it just feels like their offense is always on and doing what they want to do.
Right. And, one last little point. you will say, we both said it, but it's not even just about making the shots. Like, if you look at the shot creation and the quality of shots, you're going to notice a drastic difference. Like, just the effort that it goes into to getting to those shots. You're going to see a lot less stress from Phoenix. You're going to see a lot more composure. And you're going to see a lot more confidence because of who they have setting up their shots.
Absolutely.
So, huge night for playoff basketball. I'm looking forward to the series between Phoenix and Denver, hopefully getting to 6 or 7 games, just because I love what these two teams are doing as competitors. Philly, Atlanta in the East. These are some really good games tonight. We've had a lot of blowouts lately. The home team, I think, in this round or in the playoffs so far is like 6-1, 7, or I can't remember what the stat was, but the home team, huge in regards to wins outright and covers so far in the playoffs. I'm looking forward to soccer, baseball, and basketball this weekend, Troy. And we have the Palmetto Golf Championships going on. Joe Campese, our guy put out a full-on free golf article for that over at hoop-ball.com. So we got Euros, we got golf, we got baseball, we got basketball. Like, jeez, what more do you – and then there's fights this weekend. So, Vince at VM Center is going to be giving us out some fight winners. So I don't know. I sense lots of profit and lots of exciting sports viewing in all of our Hoopball family's futures for this weekend.
Absolutely. And I think the best part, too, about the Discord is we win together, but when we lose, we all just we let it out. We vent, and we're like, hey, this was a rough night, but we'll get back to him tomorrow. It's a very positive group of people, and I love it.
And, we don't dwell on our picks. We all usually say, like, I would 9 times out of 10 make that pick again, even how bad the result is. It's
Absolutely.
just – and that's the confidence in our family. That's our, like, development. That's our because we talk about it on the show. Conviction and value is huge. So if you can't believe in your process and if you can't believe in yourself, who the hell's gonna? I mean – other than the Hoopball family, I've had some low days. I've had some offers. I've had some minus 10 unit days. But guess who were the first people to tell me that they are going to be looking for my picks the very next day and then that they are waiting for me to just go ahead and submit my next write-up? It's the Hoopballers. Hoopballers. So y'all are phenomenal. That's all that we're getting at. And we're growing at such an astronomical rate right now. The evolution is just kind of like right in front of both of our eyes, Troy. And it's I'm just very fortunate, man. And I'm kind of, not to be that guy, but I'm feeling a little emotional about it, talking about it right now, because it's just, I was just a guy that responded to an email or a podcast like recruitment blurb. And now I've got like all these awesome people around me, and I get to do this show and I get to talk about sports and sports betting, and I got guys like you on my team, and it's just it's been an experience for sure, man, and we got lots more experiences to come. So very excited for it.
Good show today.
Absolutely. This was an experience. Just this alone.
Check us out, Hoopballers. Check us at Hoopball Gaming. Me, Troy, at Dwayne_The Rock J for Hot Take Central. Devin, what's yours? DALE07 or something like that?
Yeah, it's DALE. So it's like, all right, so people always say daily whenever they try to figure it out.
Daily.
So it's my first initial, my middle initial, and an abbreviated version of my last name. So it's right. Devin Anthony Ellington. So DALE007, because I like to think I'm a sharpshooter like James Bond.
Yes.
But I got to thinking, I've heard people say daily. And I'm thinking, daily 007. So I'm a sharpshooter daily. So I'm starting to take a little different like pseudonym approach, Dr. Seuss approach to the dichotomy of meaning of my Twitter handle and who I am as a handicapper. So I like it. I like folks not saying DALE, but just saying daily, because I'm, sports betting daily, and 007 for the precision,
I like it.
Things are a-changing. Guys, don't forget those promo codes for manscaped.com. Don't forget the one for mybookie.ag. Get your lawn mowed. You bet, you win, you get paid. We got some great sponsors. And then don't forget Tally Site. Gonna be opening a very, very public forum soon where you sign up. You get to see all the CBS professionals, all of us, all the athletic professionals, Barstool Sports, Locked On Podcast Network, Sideline Podcast Network. I mean, every freaking network is on here. I mean, during the college basketball season, I was making picks against freaking Jerry Palm. So,
my favorite was towards the end of the NBA season or the beginning of playoffs. I looked at the rankings on Tally Site, and I was a couple spots behind Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp, and that just blew my mind seeing my name up there.
Yeah, just as I got goosebumps. All my arm hairs are sticking straight up right now. But just to see your name next to these other great professionals within the industry, within this ever-changing, growing industry, it's a little surreal, honestly, man. Just the people I've had on the show, thanks to Tally Site, the people I've communicated with and met. But just to see, like you said, our names, our organization right there with CBS Sports, Skip Bayless, Shannon Sharp, the top of the ESPN guys. I mean, we're right there, guys. Weight for weight, pound for pound, hoop ball is a champ. Just go look at the baseball rankings right now. I'm just saying. As far as organizations, I think hoop ball is pound for pound a great fighter.
Shout out Riley, 7th on the all-time or on the NBA playoff overall leaders ranking right now.
Top 5s, top 10s, all over the place.
Yeah, killing it.
So, Troy, let's wrap this one up, guys. The folks have a ton to unpack with the cards coming up. It's just never stopping. The progress, the fun times. Troy, I am so happy we were able to do this. Euros, we're going to be talking a lot or coming up. MLS, their season starts soon, right?
Their season's started already. We're in the midst of it already.
We're in the midst. Okay, yeah, I couldn't remember what the MLS was doing. This is why I need you. Troy. We've got just all sorts of soccer stuff coming up and all the leagues, everything. Don't forget to follow Troy at Dwayne The Rock J on Twitter. I'm at DALE007 or Daily 007, whatever you want to call me. You'll find us at hoop-ball.com in the Wager Pass, submitting free plays on Twitter, bantering on Discord, bantering on Twitter. Always feel free to reach out to us. We don't have ginormous heads yet. We don't have ginormous personalities yet, so we're still fun to talk to. Make sure to do so. Make sure to let us know what we can do to be better. 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts are huge. Troy, cool stuff. I noticed last night when I was searching sports betting podcasts on Spotify, Today in Sports Betting was the 3rd one to pop up.
That's pretty awesome.
We are above the Action Network.
That's crazy.
So I know as far as Apple goes, they're, a little bit bigger, I think, and we're cracking, we're looking at top 10. So the algorithm, figuring that out is a big part of it, but we need y'all's support. We need your listens, your 5-star reviews. Throw some words in there. They're really weird about their formula. Throw 10 words in there, screenshot it on Apple Podcasts, send it over to me, to Troy, to Dan Bespris, Papa Dan, to team@hoop-ball.com, and we'll get you in there for a chance to win some cash. No strings attached. NSA, no strings attached. Funds, friends with bets, FWB. That's how we do it over here. We like to give, and we like to grow, so that way we can give more. So the show's at Hoopball Gaming on Twitter. Also look at Hoopball Tweets, because that's the motherboard. Don't forget the website. Don't forget the promo codes. Don't forget us. But most importantly, don't forget that I am sending you all of my good vibes, all of my good energies. We are here to have a great Friday. We are here to have a great, safe day. Be safe. Be kind. Do something nice for someone if you can. With that being said, Today in Sports Betting is out.
This has been a Hoop Ball presentation.